This competition throws up all sorts of strange results, doesn't it? Right? If we battle and we graft, we'll win this today. It's a cup tie, innit? We've got to work, we've got to graft. If we do that, let's enjoy it, and we'll win. Oh, come on, boys, it's attitude, isn't it?
All over the country, as last summer shaded into autumn, the lower orders were sorting out precedents below stairs. Salford FC, just up the road from Old Trafford, celebrated their 50th anniversary by entering the FA Cup for the first time. Sadly, their run didn't even take them as far as the qualifying competition. Warrington beat them in the preliminary round. Gretna are a club divided. Based in Scotland, they play in an English league. Half the players train in Newcastle and travel across country to meet their teammates only on match days. The volunteer spare-time groundsman divides his attention too. Mike McCartney also plays full-back and manages the team. On all counts, he does a good job. A perfect surface allows his side to play neat, attractive football. Too good for Norton and Stockton Ancients in the first qualifying round. "400 miles away in North London, Barnet's ski slope of a ground has seen many a celebrated team slide out of FA Cups past. But in striving to become the club it wants to be, Barnet sometimes resembles a bazaar in Cairo. Manager Barry Fry is one of the game's most ingenious wheeler-dealers. 2 days before the second qualifying round, Barry signed a new player.
18 grand a week, Sundays off.
But while bringing in Paul Richardson from Kettering, Fry was letting Neil Warnock have Dave Regis and Paul Harding to play in the second division for Notts County.
And the all-weather pitch is beyond that side. Right.
This season, Barnet passed more than £1 million in transfer fees received, and they were too much for Braintree as they made their way to their customary place in the FA Cup competition proper. Roger Willis, rescued from a career going nowhere with Grimsby, scored both goals in this victory. Tamworth, Warwickshire. In times past, a stout bastion against invaders. Today, it's rallying in defence of the football ground that takes its name from the Lamb Public House, just a short walk from the town centre. That makes it a prime site for redevelopment, and that's what the brewers who own the ground want to do.
When you realise how much the brewery is worth, that this ground, it might be worth a couple of £1 million to them, but to us it's worth a lot more, isn't it?
Just say it's progress, I don't know. Progress backwards, I think, instead of forward.
A good cup run would help the cause. Victory over Redditch took Tamworth in the red shirts on to the fourth qualifying round. The battle for the Lamb ground, still going on, will be harder to win. Acupuncture, 48 hours before a cup tie, may seem a desperate measure. But Steve Burr is Macclesfield's leading scorer, and Saturday's opposition will be their neighbours and Vauxhall Conference rivals Altrincham. Burr played, he's number 10 in the light blue shirt, and proved a lively advertisement for acupuncture, scoring one of the goals in a 2-2 draw. That meant a replay at Altrincham, and by the time that came round, the draw had given fresh edge to the tie. The winners would be at home to Huddersfield in the first round. This time, not even magic needles could help the Mac lads. Paul Schowler's second goal made it 3-0 and victory for Altrincham. Also in this first round were 3 clubs we saw in the qualifying stages. At the Lamb ground, Graham Smith's Tamworth had never been this far before. The visitors, Whitley Bay, were a goal down until they scored twice in the last minute of the first half. This one by Perry Briggs. By the time the street lamps came on, 2-1 had become 5-2 to Whitley Bay. But then came recovery, 5-4 as Russell Gordon headed in. 2 minutes left. Still, the scoring hadn't finished. But it was Perry Briggs again who had the last word. Tamworth 4, Whitley Bay 6. Altrincham went out too. Their game with Huddersfield produced 3 goals, all in the first half, with the winner at the second attempt by Ewan Roberts. But Barnet survived. After a draw with Chelmsford at Underhill, they won the replay. Roger Willis got their second goal. With round 2 came a reminder that football is a winter game, and the commentators' lot is not all sunshine and Brazilian sambas. Of 18 ties scheduled for Saturday, only 7 were played. The snow line stopped just north of London. On the south coast, pitches were green, and Bournemouth's preparations for a home tie with non-league Hayes had been sunlit and light-hearted. But the game itself began to seem very serious after 89 minutes without a goal.
Brooks. Jones. Jones now. Blissett, can he winkle it out? And in it goes. Scored by Sean Brooks.
While Hayes went out, Barnet, here in the orange shirts, were still boosting the non-league cause, though Northampton gave them a fright at Underhill.
Durham back to his keeper, and he may pay a price for this. Barnes. It didn't go in. What a let-off for Barnet.
Having escaped punishment for his error at home, Kevin Durham made perfect amends at Northampton by scoring the only goal of the replay. Whitley Bay, in the striped shirts, never looked likely to repeat their 6 goals in the previous round. A defensive error let in Barrow's Billy Gilmore. And what would the FA Cup be without its painters and decorators? Every non-league team seems to have one. At Woking, his name was Mark Biggins, and on Sunday morning he saw it in headlines, following his hat-trick in a 5-1 thrashing at Merthyr Tydfil. 3 non-league teams through to round 3. Enter the superstars, cue the howling gales. Tottenham were already feeling the draft before they went to Blackpool. In deep financial waters, Spurs had been hoping that Robert Maxwell would bail them out, but that line of escape was barred by the millionaire's other football interests. Terry Venables was clear-eyed enough to know that league success was now unlikely for Spurs. Failure in the cup could sink them.
Oh, Stewart! It's in. Paul Stewart scores against his old club.
In another corner of Lancashire, the league leaders and cup favourites were almost blown away. Liverpool went a goal down to Blackburn Rovers in the blue and white strip.
Simon Gardner has scored for Blackburn Rovers in the first minute of the second half.
Then both teams were reduced to 10 men. Kevin Moran and Glenn Hussein sent off. Nearing the final whistle, Blackburn still ahead.
Houghton. Oh, it's an own goal! It's an own goal on the far post. I think it's Atkins.
Liverpool rarely stumbled twice. The replay was predictable.
Houghton gets it back from Gillespie. Houghton!
No such problems for the cup holders. They went through at the first attempt. The smaller Fry were not faring so well. A header by Bolton's Tony Philliskirk accounted for Barrow. And this goal was part of a Guy Whittingham hat-trick in Portsmouth's demolition of Barnet. There was another hat-trick at West Brom. It was scored by Woking's Tim Bazaglo, the World Cup cricketer from Gibraltar. That Tim Bazaglo. And not even a painter and decorator, a computer operator no less, a natural candidate for instant immortality. Not a great talker, but if you wanted the instant quote, you could always hail his coach.
I never went beyond the third round with Fulham. I mean, here I am in the fourth round with a non-league team. I just wondered if, a non-league team's ever played in Europe.
There was a major upset at Stamford Bridge. This goal by Lee Nogan started Oxford United on their way to a win over Chelsea. Second Division also beat first at Newcastle. A surprise maybe, but hardly a sensation, given Mick Quinn's scoring record and the onset of Derby's decline. This gave Newcastle a fourth-round tie against Crystal Palace or Nottingham Forest, but which? Brian Laws cleared off the line from Ian Wright to preserve a goalless draw at Selhurst Park. The replay was postponed twice, frost and a waterlogged pitch. 1-1 after 90 minutes. Then Forest conjured a classic goal. Clough to Hodge, to Pearce, who'd started it all in the first place.
Well, Forest are about a minute away from a place in the fourth round here, but this is where teams do the most ridiculous things. That was a bad back pass, it's put the goalkeeper in trouble, and the long one has been chipped by Salako, and it's in. It's 2-2, and you just couldn't believe what Forest did there. They committed footballing suicide.
What about Thursday now? Who goes into the next game with the advantage, do you feel?
Where are we playing?
Here, I believe.
Oh, good. Are you coming?
We were there, but there was another postponement, now because of fog. By the time this third-round tie was settled, the draw had been made for the fifth round.
Hodge starts a forward run and draws a man, creates some space. This is Parker again.